Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're just joining us for the first time, don't forget to subscribe, like, share and comment on this video. Now this video is a bridal glam, how to do a clean bridal glam on a dark skinned client or model. So if generally you're having issues with doing makeup on a dark skinned person, then don't skip this video. Now let's get into it.
You have different skin tones, different undertones, different skin textures, and the rest. So for today, we'll be working with precious skin, and let's dive into it and see what she has to offer us. Okay. First things first, we'll start by cleaning her face. We're going to be using the MAC Hyper Real Fresh Canvas. You can use any cleansing balm you have, or you can use just micellar water, but this cleans the face better and gives you a better start, a cleaner canvas, okay? So let's get in. So first off, you're going to spray with your Kiss Beauty green tea. This is just to wake the face up before you apply the cleansing balm. The spray. So this is cream to foam. So it lathers after application. This procedure, I don't do it for my regular appointments, just for bridals, okay? Because it takes more time to get ready. When you add this procedure to your routine, add my micellar water, I'm just going to take. So this is just to cleanse it further. You know how your bride might have had a very stressful day with the whole runarounds for the preparation and everything. It's going to look at, see how dirty it is. So this is a very important step. I shouldn't joke with my Kiss Beauty spray. Close your eyes. Which will be the last step for the cleaning. I'm still going to go over again to clean using my cotton pad. So this is why you can't do this for your everyday clients, because it's both time consuming and you spend more products doing this. But you notice that the skin has become noticeably clean and very fresh. And that was the goal we're trying to achieve. So you notice that the face looks much more alive and fresher than it was when we started. So now we're going to go into our makeup proper. So for the first step I'm going to go in with my Mario Badescu spray. This is a facial spray with aloe vera, herbs, and rose water. Please close your eyes. Now you're going to spray that and allow it to get into the skin. You can choose to work it in with your hands or just fan it to dry. But for the sake of time, I'm going to work it in with my hands. Now after this, I'm going to go in with my toner. This is the toner, Aquel pH Balancing Liquorized Toner, Cleansing Toner. So I'm going to use it after applying my Mario Badescu spray. I'm going to take it on my cotton pad and apply it on the face, everywhere on the face. This will help to suit her skin. If she has sensitive skin, to help to suit it and balance it. So when I apply product, it won't react, okay? So next I'm using this Korean serum, premium serum. I'm going to take it on my brush and apply it on the face. Remember, we're not allowed to apply product directly on your client's skin. You have to take it on a brush before applying to reduce the spread of germs from one client to another. I'm going to work this in with my hands. I just use this polyglutamic acid moisture serum from Blue Room just to add a little more moisture to the face. Just slowly 2 more. I'm still going to apply my moisturizer, like I said, but it's just very important that your base is hydrated. Whatever you're looking at achieving, a matte finish, a soft matte finish, a dewy finish, you still need a very good hydrated base. Okay.
After applying your serums, next you go in with your toner. This is the Meron mattifying toner. Okay, this toner helps to elongate your makeup wear time, and for my bridal processes I don't miss it. I always apply my toner after my serums, then I go in with my moisturizer. This is because I want the base. It's more like a sandwich method. You apply hydrating products, next you apply mattifying products, and then next hydrating and then mattifying. This will help your makeup to sit better and to give you that soft matte finish that you want. Okay.
Now that she has a dry skin, like I said, a dry or normal skin type, I can choose to use either of these two because, like I said, she has a dry skin and these two would work well with the dry skin. But I'll go with this because I want to blow out these blemishes, should I say blemishes, or the pores here, they're just a bit tight. So I want to blow it out. So this would be a perfect option because, like the name implies, it's a blurring balm. So it helps create an illusion of a blurred canvas, which is the skin. So we're going to take our product, just a little thick, and then we're going to warm it up at the back of your palm before you apply on the skin. Just spread it evenly, just like more like activate it. Then you get into the skin. This blurring balm from Vanessa Marix is very nice. It dries down matte, but not really completely matte, more like a soft matte effect, while still leaving a shiny finish. And like I have been emphasizing, my model's skin is dry, so I can't go in with anything that's going to dry out the skin more. So you can go in with this and then top it up with a mattifying primer. But I'm not using a mattifying primer. I'm only going to be using these products that I highlighted. I'm going to allow it to sit for some few seconds before I go in with my foundation. For my foundation, I'll be going in with NARS Radiant Finish Longwear Foundation in the shade Zambia. This is almost her shade. I like to go in one shade darker. So by the time we do our highlights and contour, everything will come together. I don't know if I'm making sense. Well, I'm just going to apply this on her face and then blend in with my brush. This is a soft matte foundation. Like I said, I want to achieve a soft matte finish. I'm not aiming at a matte look. And for dark skinned people, I always prefer soft matte or dewy looks because it just helps. I don't know, there's this glow that comes with dark skin. And when you do a soft matte finish, it just helps accentuate it the more. But if you use a matte product for dark skin, most time they end up looking dried out. And you know, the beauty of melanin is it's shining. So if it's not shining, I think you just messed the melanin up. So I prefer to use a smaller brush to pick up the product and then apply it directly and then blend in with my brush, my foundation brush. This helped me achieve more coverage with lesser product. Okay. You can see the skin is still shining. So it's still retaining the whole glow. And that's the whole essence of what I've been trying to say. Your skin prep is what will influence the finished look that you're aiming at. If you go in with a matte, if you create a matte base, you will always end up achieving a matte base. But if you go in with a dewy base or a soft matte base, it will help you achieve a soft matte look. So my foundation is in. Now I'm going to apply my concealer. Okay, let me just apply the foundation down to her neck to make sure that her body and her face are even. Okay, for and blush, I'll be using the Curve Case palette. This is a very nice brand. Now I want to get something close to her shade or undertone. But because she's very, very dark, we still need something dark. So I'll be using this very dark shade. Take it on my pan. And then I'll also be using this warm shade. I'll mix it up to get what I want. Product and apply it on the areas I want to contour. So around the forehead area. The bridge of the nose. Now I'm going to blend in using a foundation brush, a cream brush rather. I like to blend these products in using brushes because it helps to give an even spread, way better than using a beauty blender. See how I'm blending it upward because I want it to blend into the blush area. So you blend the side into the hairline, blend this into the hairline. Sorry. We'll just take this up a little. And this into the hairline to get a more contoured effect. And this into the hairline. Okay. So next I'm going to blend the nose area. So this you're going to blend this into the brow bone. Into the brow bone. I like to warm it up on the back of my palm. I like to warm up my blush on the back of my palm before I apply it. So when I apply it, it comes out evenly distributed instead of having patches. So I prefer to apply and spread it on my palm, back of my palm rather, before applying directly to the face. So people tend to just apply it directly on the face and then blend. Whatever works for you though, but this is what works for me. So remember I used the blush from the Curve Case by Michelle. So that's done. You see, now that I spread it on my back and then applied it here, it was easier to just apply it on the face quick. No need to start trying to adjust and to blend and what I'm doing. So next I'm going with my concealer. We're using the Bond Sway concealer and Dior as my base before I use my Bond Sway concealer. Look up. This is a very lightweight concealer and the coverage is also light. So this is just like my base before I apply my Bond Sway concealer. Okay. The Dior concealer is in shade 6.5N. Then I'm going to use my Bond Sway in mahogany. I don't want to take her out of her skin. Bond Sway has fuller coverage, so I'm just going to apply little and spread. I don't want too much. Remember to start blending from the other parts up of the forehead, the bridge of the nose. Let's see. Bridge of the nose. Before you go into the under eye. Okay. But you want to allow that under eye area to dry down a bit. Like this. Okay. For dark skins, you have to be very careful the shade and undertone of products you use. Because one mistake can just shift the whole makeup or make the model to appear lighter. And we don't want that. So our under eye is set. We are now going to go in with our powder to set the highlighted areas. Yes. So before you start setting your under eyes, make sure you go in with your concealer brush to brush out the harsh lines under the eyes. So I'm going to be using the airbrush pressed powder to set her under eyes. Look up, please. This is a lightweight powder and it gets the work done. You know, we are going for a soft matte finish, so we want to make sure that you're not using products that are too mattifying. Look up. Funny enough, even though for bridals we want a matte finish, if you start the whole process with matte products, my sister, my brother, you won't be able to blend it though. It will just come out very harsh. And you'll be struggling, look up throughout the whole process to blend. So when you finish setting, set the other areas that you highlighted. So this powder I'm using is not too bright and it's just like a shade lighter. For dark skins, I don't even like going brighter. Just one shade brighter is enough for me when it comes to doing dark skin makeup. And personally, I feel like dark skin makeup is like my favorite type of makeup to do. As it challenges me, it makes me challenge myself to want to do better and try not to make any mistake. The beauty powder. I'm using Fenty Beauty in 480. This is what it looks like, okay? So I'm just going to take my brush and apply. I know a lot of you have noticed that Fenty Beauty has been like one of the most popular powders that have been in trend lately. This is because this powder has a soft matte effect. And since everybody's going for a soft matte finish, it should be one of your best choices if you're aiming at achieving a soft matte finish. Okay? So just take the powder and apply it to the areas it did not highlight. This powder does not dry out your face. It leaves you feeling, as in feeling much like you're still in your skin, as if you've not applied powder on your face. I don't know if I'm making sense. So, as you can see, my model's face is still looking soft. Like I said, that's the goal I want to achieve. I still want her to look soft and look like herself in a more advanced or enhanced way. Bronzer, I'm going to be using the White Glam Bronzy by White Glam palettes, White Glam Beauty. I'm using this shade here. Oh, A lot of people usually substitute bronzers for powder palette or powder palette for bronzer, but no, they don't serve the same function. You need to get a bronzer. It's very important. Now I'll be using this brush. This brush is from Morphe. Now, let's get into it. Start from under the brow bone. This white Glam bronze palette, I think it's not really getting the hype it deserves. She really did well with it. The palette is very good. Very, very good. I love it. And the shades, the choice of shades are very, very nice. A deep deep pink blush. I'm applying it on the apple of her cheek. For dark skinned people, you can only use red or dark red or dark pink blushes. You can't use orange or brown because it won't soak and it won't suit their skin. Okay? So for dark skins, you are limited when it comes to blush shades and applications. Nice. Mostly spray. Just to remove the powdery effect and then bring the look together. For setting powder, I'll be using the Merak setting powder in nutmeg. Okay, diffuse the products so that it won't be too much on her face. I'm diffusing it. Look up before I apply it to her under eyes. So when you take your product, you spread it out at the back of your eyes. Sure. So remember, you're going to apply it to everywhere you highlighted. Okay. So the bridge of the nose, the brow area, the forehead, everywhere you highlighted. Mhm. So you don't want to use too much powder because you don't want the face to start looking white. For reverse contour, I'm using the same setting powder I used. Sorry. When you apply, you blend. You don't want too much. Always remember that when you're doing reverse contour, you don't need to use a very light setting powder rather. Don't go too dark. Don't go too light. Just use something close to your client's shade. That way when you're blending, to blend easily. Now for the baking, I'm just going to use my Huda Beauty. But unlike what we used to know that for baking, you apply it everywhere. No. This is just to trap the setting powders, the eyeshadow fallouts. So I'm just going to apply it beneath the eyes, just to brighten a little and trap fallouts. And you can't go too bright either for your baking. You can't. Look up. Can't go to that. So, look up. Can't go to that. Sorry. And you need plenty setting powder for this. You need to take enough. Take enough. Okay. So just that. Yeah, good to go. Got it. So for the baking, I used Huda Beauty setting powder and Kunafa. Okay. Those are those. Okay, for the base, I'm going to be using the curve case palette, the one that is left on my brush, on my mixing tray rather. Is it? I'm just going to use it on the lid as my base for my eyeshadow. Okay. You can use your foundation or concealer, whichever you deem fit. But since I have some leftover on my mixing pan, I'm just going to use that. Mm. Okay. Cool. So I've blended this in. Now I'm going to go in with my powder palette. My eyeshadow palette rather. I'm using this shade. That's like the darkest brown on this palette. So I'm just going to take it. Go and check if it's showing. I'm using the Morphe 350 Supernatural Glow. Come. I'm going to apply it on the eyelid. See how dark it is. So the base you use for your eyeshadow will tell how intense the eyeshadow will look or how it's going to pop. So because she's dark skinned, I went in for a very dark shade because there's other color I will apply now that will be this dark. Just come out like um nude kind of brown, not just brown. So I had to go for a dark concealer. So that when I apply my eyeshadow, it's going to pop. Okay. For the crease area, I'm just going to do a run over with a lighter shade of brown. Okay. I'm going to use this shade. It is more like her skin tone. That shade. That's more like her shade. I use NYX eyeshadow glitter primer rather is finished. I just have very little left. So I'm going to apply it at the back of my palm. Use a brush to pick it up and apply on the lid. Because you can't open your eyes while I'm doing this. Okay? Okay. Now for my glitter base, I'll be using this palette from Luster Cosmetics. It's a glitter eyeshadow palette rather. So I'll be using this shade here for my base. Please come on. I'm still going to apply what's it called? I'm still going to apply pigments right now, but I'll use this first as the base for my eyeshadow. Now what this does is that it helps intensify the pigment you're going to apply later. Okay? It makes it sit better. Now I can even apply this and not even bother applying pigments again. But that's not the goal. The goal is to apply both pigments, both one from the pigment palettes and the normal pigments. Okay, open your eyes. So you see, look down. So you see, even without applying normal pigments, this alone can serve. But I'm still going to go in with my pigments, though. This is not the finished look. Yes. So I'm going to go back in with my glitter glue. Close your eyes, please. On top of the eyeshadow I already applied. Like I said, the goal of this is just to intensify the look, make it appear more pronounced and pop more. Okay. So for my eyeshadow, I'm using my pigments rather. I'm using the pigments from MK Beauty. I'll show it after applying. Okay. The name of the pigment is MK Beauty in Mood Dust. I'm going to take a little of this one. This is in Rider, MK Beauty in Rider. Just take a little and I really like this pigment. It's one of my favorite pigments from the MK Beauty collection. So I applied the rider on top of the Mood Dust to make it more pronounced and to shine further. Okay, open your eyes, please. All right. So now I'm going to go back in with my eyeshadow, the Morphe eyeshadow I used for the base, to clean out the edges of the eyeshadow to make it look better. Okay. Precise brush. I'm going to take in the same color I used. Okay, this is the brush I'm using. Just close your eyes. You see, it's already overlaying. So I'm going to use this brush to create like a demarcation so that the pigments will not go over the lid. Okay. So it's just like a demarcation between where I applied eyeshadow and where I applied pigments. This is just to clean out the eyeshadow area. Okay. Now you're going to go with the brush you used for your crease to just brush it out. Brush out this area. So it blends with the other area. Setting powder we applied after the first one we applied to set is to pick up fallout. Now you can see the fallouts here. When we are done, we are going to brush it off, and you see that it will be easier to brush off because of the setting powder we applied than if we did not apply setting powder. Okay, look up, let me see. So I'm going to this eyeliner gel is from Tehila Cosmetics. It's very, very, very pigmented. And the little goes a long way. Just So you're going to ask your model or your client to look down while you apply. Oops. You always start by spooling your brows. I know we all know that. So for bridal makeup, I don't use brow tamer. I don't want the brows to run over time. I don't use brow tamer, so I just go in with my brow gel. I'll be using the Hager and Esther brow gel in ebony to outline her brows before going in with any other thing. So like I said, first of all, spool your brows, put them in place, and then start drawing. This brush I'm using is from Blossom Makeup brush sets. So always remember that the way you groom your brows is very important because that's how you're also going to draw it. So if you groom it anyhow, you end up drawing it anyhow. So when I'm grooming my brows, I just have a picture of what I want to draw in my head. Then I go ahead to groom it that way. When I'm drawing my brows, it will be very easy for me to draw. Let me percent. Turn the water off. Okay. So I'm going to fill in using the same brow gel. I'm going to fill in the edge of the brows. I'm going for a more natural look on the brow, so I'm not going to really fill in so much. We'll overline the brows because she's dark and other one will not show when light flashes on her face. So you have to go in with a darker pencil. That's for dark people. Sometimes you might notice that when you do your makeup, when you finish your makeup, when the client goes to snap, to be looking like the brows are not showing, because of the light. Once light flashes on the face, especially for dark people, you will lose some depth. So if the brows are not dark enough, it will just start showing like it was not properly done, or and they didn't even do the brows. The brows will just be showing empty, blank, or ash. So you just use the black pencil to overline it, so that even when light flashes on it, to still show. So I'm just going to fill in the brows with the pencil. So I'm going to fill in this area lightly, fill the same black pencil. Lightly. So you want to create like natural hairlines, hair strokes, further. So you just fill lightly and brush. But I still use the same black pencil I used. She has nice brow hairs, so you don't have to go too much. Just apply and brush. That's all. Okay. That's why you have to work with your client's natural brows. Because if you go and remove all the brow hairs, when you want to do it, you'll be struggling because if you remove this while you were carving or grooming the brows. Okay. To conceal the brows, I'll be using this concealer from Kevin Coin. I think this is shade 018, I think so. I've forgotten. So the reason I like this concealer is because it's very creamy and offers full coverage. Okay. So I'm just going to take what I want at the back of my palm and then use my flat concealer brush, my small concealer brush to conceal. I like to use very dark concealers when I'm concealing the eyebrow. So even if my model were to be fair, I will still use a concealer that is almost her shade. So it will be easy for me to clean it up when I want to blend to avoid having harsh lines and what have you. So I'm just going to conceal this and then go in with my blending brush to blend out the concealer. Personally, I don't like concealing the top of my brows, so once I'm done concealing the bottom, I just blend and then I move on to the next. But on very rare occasions when there are maybe mistakes that I have to correct at the top of the brows, I'll just take a little concealer on my brush and then just touch that area to adjust it, and that is it. I don't conceal my whole brow. So I'm doing the same thing on the second eyebrow, and then I'm going to blend. And then if there's any mistake anywhere, I'm just going to correct it and then move on to other things. The second powder I used to set the face mirror to set the area I highlighted. You know, everywhere you apply concealer or foundation, you need to go back and set to avoid creasing. If not, it might start oiling out sooner than later. So just best you set every area you apply concealer or foundation to. Set it with first powder or um setting powder. Take away the oil notes. The brow gel to outline her lips because she's dark and I don't have a lip liner that is this dark in my lip palette, so just going to use this to outline. So for lip, I'm using Eye Magic lip palettes. I'm using. Oh, please. Keep doing it. Mhm. Keep doing it. Do it again. Okay. Finish. Okay. Yes. Dark lip gloss just over the lips. to make it more pronounced. Again, this bridal collection in ID for her lashes. Okay, she has small eyes, so we have to go for something small and bridey. So I'll be using the same shade of powder I used earlier, the Fenty in 480, I think so. Yes, just going to use it all over the face, excluding the place I highlighted. Okay, the brush I'm using is a fluffy powdered brush. You can use any powder brush you have, but the most important thing is that it has to be a brush that can easily spread powder everywhere on the face without leaving patches also. So I'm just doing this everywhere, making sure I'm blending every powder, every live powder, like setting powder, blush, contour, everything together before I go in with my smaller powder brush to set the highlighted areas. So just take smaller brush and brush off the inner corners. Now you're going to use your brush to just brush off the excesses. That's from the setting powder, the eyeshadow, whatever light product you have on the skin. Mind you, I'm not using any product while I'm doing this, so I'm just going to brush off the setting powder first, setting powders first, before I apply any pressed powder. Now you're going to take your blush, the powdered blush you applied earlier, and reapply it to the areas you applied it the first time, just to bring back warmth to the face. Okay, now for your blush placement, you have to make sure you're applying it on the apple of the cheek. Okay, just by the top there, and then blend it into your bronzer. For my pro setting, I'll be using the Charlotte Tilbury pressed powder in number 4, and I'm using this brush from MK Beauty to take the product and apply under the eyes. Now the reason why I like this powder is because it has a lightweight formula and it's more like it gives an airbrush finish, so and a little goes a long way. So just apply a little and then it just sits. So you're going to apply this under the eyes, the jaw, and just most of the places we highlighted. Okay, so to set the whole place, I'll be using the Morphe spray, Morphe continuous spray. So this spray helps to remove the powdery effect of your makeup and then just bring everything together. Then I'm going to fan it to dry before I go in with my sealing spray. Next, I'm going in with my Charlotte Tilbury spray. This spray helps to set the face and elongate the wear time as well. So after this, then my sealing spray. Now this is the Quayolan spray. This was the last spray and it's a sealing spray I use for my brides. After applying your setting sprays and your sealing sprays, the last thing I usually do is apply my mascara. The reason I apply my mascara last is because if I apply my mascara before applying my setting spray, the model or your client might close their eyes forcefully and then it will cause the mascara to smudge under and stain the under eye. So it's best to apply your mascara when you're done with all the spraying. Okay. Now this is the finished look, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please do wait to subscribe and share this video. Bye. See you in my next video.